Today we will talk about the 4th episode of Surah An-Nissa. If you avoid the major sins you are forbidden, we will remove from you your lesser sins and admit you to a noble entrance. Here is the truth of a different reading of this verse. What a different reading. Entrance to others. Another team read it as an introduction, not an introduction. Okay, we disbelieve. There is a group that reads it as an unbeliever. We admit you. A group read it as he admits you. So if we read it according to the other group, it would be as follows. If you avoid the major sins you are forbidden, he will remove your sins and admit you to a noble entrance. I feel more comfortable with the second reading. Honestly, this is different from the reading I have now, because for entrance, I don't really know. Entrance makes sense and is reasonable anyway. Alright, the next point after this reading is, what are the major sins? What are the major sins? There are two opinions on the subject of major sins. The first opinion says that everything God forbade in Surah An-Nissa from the first verse to verse 30, all of that counts as major sins. The second opinion says no. Major sins are associating partners with God, killing a soul, falsely accusing chaste women, adultery, usury, fleeing battle, disobeying parents, denying guardianship, and giving false testimony. Where did this statement come from? It came from the source, Meaning Al-Tibyan, Comprehensive Book of Quranic Sciences, by Al-Tusi. 32. And do not wish for that by which Allah has made some of you exceed others. For men is a share of what they have earned, and for women is a share of what they have earned. And ask Allah of His bounty. Indeed, Allah is ever of all things knowing. The meaning here is that you shouldn't wish for what others have to come to you, whether it's wealth, status, health, fame, or anything else. But ask God to grant you something like it. Don't wish for the blessing to be taken away from them. Ask that He gives you something like it, because this is a division that God Himself has set exactly this way. So that's it. Here, there are different opinions about the reasons for revelation. The first opinion is that when the verse was revealed, or the male, a share equal to that of two females, the women said, we deserve the double share more than the men. The men should get one share, and we should get two, meaning we should get double what they get. So the verse was revealed. You get it? Okay. Why? Because they said men are stronger, and they're the ones who go out. They earn, they give pensions, and all that stuff. We're the weaker ones. So the verse was revealed. The second opinion is that when the verse for the male, a share equal to that of two females, was revealed as well. The men said that God has favored us over women in inheritance, and in good deeds our reward is double that of women. So the women replied to them, saying, since you get double the reward, then we should get half the punishment in the hereafter. Meaning, if I do something and you commit the same sin, I should get half the punishment. So the verse was revealed. It's clear that the women back then were quite sharp. They were opposition, and they spoke up just fine. The third opinion. Honestly, Salama, who was the Prophet's wife, said to him, O Messenger of God, the men go out to battle, and we do not. You're the ones who benefit from battle, and the things you get from it. You get what I mean? And yet, we only get half the inheritance. So the verse was revealed. The fourth opinion is that the women demanded to participate in battles alongside the men so they could receive the rewards and benefits and all those things. So the verse was revealed. So that's four, right? For opinions on the reasons for revelation. Alright, what's the source? Ru Almani, Al-Lucy. Alright, 33. To each we have appointed heirs to what is left by parents and relatives. And those with whom your oaths have been made, give them their share. Indeed, Allah is ever, over all things, a witness. The reason for revelation here is that before the verses of inheritance were revealed, the Prophet established a bond of brotherhood between the Muhajirin and the Ansar. So some of them developed a strong love for each other and formed something called Mali. What does Mali mean? It means they would sit together and say what? They would say, we are brothers. If you go to war, I go to war with you. If you make peace, I make peace with you. Your blood is my blood. I inherit from you, and you inherit from me. And so on. So this verse was revealed to affirm what they had agreed upon, which is what? That these Mali would inherit from each other. But then verse 35 from Al-Anfal came, which said, and those of blood relations, yes, are closer to one another. It abrogated verse 33, the one we're discussing in An-Nissa. So how did they resolve this? They said, okay, the scholars said that it means we can inherit from these Mali, those who made this agreement, if they specified it in a will. But they don't get from the inheritance itself. Al-Araf said, and honestly, I don't understand how a verse from Al-Araf can abrogate a verse from An-Nissa. I mean, I really don't get that. When was this revealed? I don't know. Dating the revelation of these verses. Time difference? How many days? Honestly, this is a really important issue. But who is the researcher who can even get us close to these time frames? I don't know. I honestly couldn't figure it out. Anyway, so if these clients, who agreed among themselves to inherit from each other, who love each other, if they agreed, one of them dies, and the other leaves him a will, he inherits. If he didn't leave him a will, he doesn't inherit. That's how it goes. Because the proverb said, they said, blood relations are closer. So clients are excluded from the verse. From the source, Reflections on the Quran by Sheikh Muhammad Metwali al-Sharawi. Alright. 34. Men are the protectors and maintainers of women. Because Allah has given some more than others, they spend from their wealth. Righteous women are devoutly obedient, guarding in husband's absence what Allah guard. Those you fear disobedience, advise them, forsake them in bed, and strike them. If they obey you, seek no means against them. Allah is all high, all great. There are two opinions regarding the reason for this revelation. The first is that a man slapped his wife, who then complained to the Prophet. The Prophet decided retribution should be taken, but this verse was revealed, stopping the retribution. Since men are maintainers over women, if he slaps her, it's not a problem. The second opinion regarding the revelation's reason is that Salama said to the Prophet, she said that women get half of what men get in inheritance. And also, the testimony of a man is equal to the testimony of two women. Then the verse was revealed. Pay attention, because this was to confirm to her that this is correct. Don't say anything, all right? What does this mean? The meaning of the verse is that men are protectors or maintainers of women. By what? Take note. With reason, discernment, striving, testimony, dowry, and financial support. Who is responsible for the financial support then? For the obedient women, for their husbands, those who guard their chastity. Pay attention. These women, what do they get? The husband provides for them financially. Very good. Part of a man's authority is his right to restrict a woman in her wealth. And also, as part of this authority, she can't do anything without his permission, ever. She has to ask his permission first, even if she's just going to visit her family. That's part of the verse. Men's authority includes that he can strike her, but not severely. That's what the jurists say. The verse itself doesn't specify whether it's severe or not. It says, and strike them, but they say, not severely. Some say with a miswak, others say with something else. The Sheikh of Al-Azhar said not to break her bones. That's most important. But otherwise it's normal, he can hit her. That's the idea. So the whole issue is just one thing she shouldn't obey him in. She insists on fulfilling God's religious obligations, demonstrating a unique freedom. So here, she can disobey him, you get it? Exactly. Anyway, so strike them and abandon them in bed, and so on. All right, so admonish them. That means scare her properly. If she doesn't get scared, like if she's stubborn and has it in her head that she's free and all that stuff. If she still isn't scared, then do not share their beds. What does do not share their beds mean? Scholars said funny things about this. They say the husband should go lie in her bed and turn his back to her. All right, fine, but if he gets aroused at night, he just has sex with her and that's it. He doesn't talk to her at all. That was Al-Sadi's opinion. That's Al-Sadi's view. Of course, there are other opinions. What does that even mean? I don't know what's the point of having sex with her but not talking to her. Why not just talk to her and get it over with? Anyway, the second opinion says, and beat them because of the beds. Meaning, if she becomes disobedient, hit her so she submits to sleeping with you. So, it's all about the marital relationship, basically. Who says that? Al-Tabari, that's who. The third thing is, if a woman spends the night avoiding her husband, the angels curse her until she returns. And who says that then? The Prophet himself. Honestly, I really don't know. What do the angels have to do with this whole thing? It's just a dispute between two people, like she's willing to sleep or she's not willing to sleep. I have a question. How does God endorse the principle of beating in the Quran? Sir, I honestly don't know. Where did they get non-harmful beating from? Or where did they get light beating from? I mean, that's it. Honestly, I have no idea where they came up with that. But still, he approved of beating. How does God approve of one person beating another? And what if the husband is the one who rebels? Does the wife have the right to beat him? That's the thing. I mean, there are a lot of foolish men out there, you know, and some are mentally ill, have issues, are arrogant, rebellious. You name it, it's human nature. The husband is just like the wife. The male is just like the female. After all, it's the woman who gives birth to him in the first place, whether it's the husband, the son, or any of them. I mean, he literally came from her womb, you get it? So what if? Why didn't God establish hitting as a principle for both sides? If one rebels, the other slaps them in the face? I mean, I'm totally against hitting, honestly, and I don't even know how. Honestly, this is actually stated clearly in the Quran. Hit. If she rebels, hit her. But how, though? Honestly, I just don't get it at all. The Interpretation, Guidance to Reaching the End, by Maki ibn Abi Talib. And if you fear a split between them, send an arbitrator from his family and an arbitrator from hers. If they both want reconciliation, God will bring them together. Indeed, God is all-knowing, all-wise. Simply put, if a husband and wife disagree, they should choose a wise person from each family to look into the matter. Man, do you want to stay with her or separate? Lady, do you want to continue with him or do you want to separate? And the two arbitrators sit together and settle the matter. They judge between them based on what they've heard from both sides. This is according to the source Bar al-Ulum by al-Samarkandi. I don't have a question at hand or anything. It's all good, really. 36. Worship Allah and associate nothing with Him. Be good to parents, relatives, orphans, needy, near neighbor, distant neighbor, companion at your side, traveler, and your right hands possess. Allah dislikes arrogant and boastful. Here, honestly, it's a real shift. I mean, the verse. Are you paying attention? It moves from talking about marital relationships and all that stuff, and forsake them in bed, and strike them, and all those things. Then it shifts to talking about worship, associating partners with Allah. Are you following? And being good to others. This is one thing, and that's something completely different. What's the connection between verses 35 and 36? I don't see any connection. There's no thematic unity. Who are the neighbor near of kin, the neighbor a stranger, and all that? Some say the neighbor who is near of kin means your relative, like your cousin or your aunt's son. Others say, no, the neighbor who is near of kin means your Muslim neighbor. All right, fine. So who is the neighbor? The stranger. Some people say the neighbor is a stranger, meaning someone who isn't from your people. And others say, no, that's the Jewish or Christian neighbor. Very nice explanation. So who is the companion at your side? Some say it's the wife, and others say it's your travel companion. Okay, and those whom your right hands possess, those are the captives and slaves taken after a battle, you know what I mean? So what's the source for all this? Zad al-Mazir fi ilm al-Tafsir by Ibn al-Jawzi. Alright, page 37. Those who are stingy and order people to be stingy, and conceal what Allah has given them of His bounty. And we have prepared for the disbelievers a humiliating punishment. Honestly, this is a significant shift. I mean, you were talking in the previous verse about being good to the neighbor and things. But now, you're talking to us about spending, stinginess, and money. I'm not seeing the connection to the previous topic, the thematic unity here. In this episode, the connection between the verses is missing, or at least, I don't get it. Now, Here there are different opinions about the reasons for revelation. There are, like, 2 opinions, actually about 4 opinions. One opinion says that this verse was revealed about the Jewish rabbis because they concealed what was in their books about the characteristics of Prophet Muhammad. Right. Not just that. And they told the Ansar not to spend on the Muhajirin so that you don't lose your wealth and become poor. Alright, so it was revealed about those people. That's pretty clear. About the rabbis of the verse, the Jews. Second, it was revealed about the hypocrites. There's a third opinion that says no, not those nor those. This was revealed about the polytheists of Mecca. There's a fourth opinion that says no, not any of those 3 at all. It was just revealed about the disbelievers in general, you know. So what does all this mean? The meaning of the verse is that a miser is defined as someone who doesn't spend his money at all. Or if he does spend, he does it just to show off in front of people, so they think he's generous. That's basically what a miser is. The scholar says there are many types of miserliness, with money, with knowledge, and with food, and miserliness with greetings and so on. A miserly person is out of the ordinary. That's from the source. The source here is Al-Bar Al-Muhib by Abu Hayyan. Alright, or verse 38. And those who spend their wealth to be seen by people, and do not believe in Allah or the last day, and whoever has Satan as a companion. What a terrible companion he is. Opinions differ on Revelation's reasons. Some say it concerned hypocrites who spent wealth to be seen, and others said no, it was revealed about the Jews. And a third group said no, it was revealed about the polytheists of Mecca who spent their wealth to support the war against the Muslims. The source here is Al-Tashil Liyulam Al-Tanzil by Ibn Juzay Al-Darnani. 39. What harm if they believed in God and the last day and spent from what God provided? God is all-knowing. Here it mentions spending. We ask, does it mean charity or does it mean zakat? What is meant here is zakat, and the phrase, and God is all-knowing of them. This is a threat to them. If they didn't spend the money, or in reality, First, let's mention the source. The source here is Zad al-Mazir fi Ilm al-Tasir by Ibn al-Jawzi. I have a question here. What is the connection between faith and spending? Why is faith linked to spending? What does it say? What harm if they had spent? What harm if they had believed in God and the last day and spent? Why is there a connection between faith and spending? I don't get this part. A person could be stingy and still be an ordinary Muslim. So what's the problem? How does being stingy take someone out of Islam? Alright, that's one question. The second question, who is God addressing this question to? What is he saying? And what would have been the harm to them? What's the big deal, really? In today's language, what's the harm if they believed in God and spent? Exactly like I'm telling you. Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know what's wrong with that. If they believed in God and spent, 40. Indeed, God does not wrong even the weight of an atom. And if it is a good deed, he multiplies it and grants from himself a great reward. Here, the recitation was read by Ibn Abbas. I see the verse as follows. Indeed, God does not wrong even the weight of an ant. Ibn Abbas, scholar and Quran interpreter, didn't say weight of an ant. He said weight of an atom. Following? Good. From the source. Who is it that's saying Ibn Abbas said that? The source is Al-Jawahir, Al-Hizn fi Tafsir Al-Quran by Al-Thalabi. Alright, the question here is, What does this verse have to do with the one before it, too? I mean, the verse is talking about God's justice on the day of judgment and all these things. Indeed, Allah does not wrong even the weight of an atom, and all these things are really good. The verse before it talks about stinginess and spending. What's the connection between them? See you next Friday.